Heavy leather boots and freezing surf, claiming data from the frozen earth. Frost-covered ropes across the palm, systematic violence, cold and calm. Cricket pine hollow, wooden frame, recalibrating the ancient game. 60 men with grunting breaths, calculating 60 different deaths. Boots are sinking in the gray-black silt, iron geometry, blood and guilt. Cold salt water hits the pelvic bone, mapping out the target all alone. Scrape the hull across the jagged stone, grinding marrow from the master's throne. Icy spray upon the stiffened nerve, following the path the gods observe. Stormborn cold in the cold, cold. Bone and ash in the hold, hold. Iron will in the ribs, ribs. Burning all the Nordic cribs, cribs. Sync the rhythm to the pulse of wars, opening the locked and rusted doors. Tear the tendon from the shoulder blade, binary of war is how we're paid. Calibrate the axe and heavy shield, logic says the weak will always yield. Blood is pumping through the vessel's vein, processing the pleasure and the pain. Frost is biting at the knuckle skin, let the lethal sequence now begin. Push the timber through the rising tide, nowhere for the terrified to hide. Scanning horizons for the coastal lights, processing the data of the fights. Hard-coded fury in the spinal cord, living by the logic of the sword. On steel, the sound of laws. Death is written in the wolf's own jaws. Flesh and fiber, heat and frost, none can calculate the final cost. Stormborn cold in the cold, cold. Bone and ash in the hold, hold. Iron will in the ribs, ribs. Burning all the Nordic cribs. Salt is drying on the facial hair, static electricity in the air. Measure out the distance to the shore. 60 warriors wanting something more. Lungs are burning in the frozen chest, warriors failing every physical test. Logic driven, focused on the prize. Ancient darkness in the waiter's eyes. Heavy leather boots and freezing surf, staking ownership of foreign turf. Frost-covered ropes are pulling tight, dragging systems into endless night. Creaking pine hull a heavy weight, executing functions of our fate. 60 men with grunting breaths, programming 1,000 different deaths. Ribs are shaking from the heavy beat, marching through the ice and through the sleet. Knees are locking as the ship moves out, silencing the logic and the doubt. Shatter every bone within the hand, writing bloody data on the sand. Calibrate the fury in the brain, climbing on the sequence of the rain. Stormborn cold in the cold, cold. Bone and ash in the hold, hold. Iron will in the ribs, ribs. Burning all the Nordic cribs. Bones and ash, bones and ash, bones and ash, bones and ash. System down.
Unblinking, pale eyes watching the tide. Nowhere for the living to run and hide. Cold mist clinging to the ashwood oars, tracking movement on the western shores. Invisible raven feathers fall on the deck, calculating weight on the
Human neck.
raw sinew stretching as the rower strain, processing the input of the coming pain. Shoulder sockets grinding in a circular arc, writing binary tragedy into the dark. Oxygen is burning in the rib cage wall, counting every heartbeat before the fall. Biological engines running at the peak, waiting for the metal to
Pierce the cheek. It is the Valkyrie ledger,
mapping out the marrow on the water.
Rose. System check the artery,
System check the vein, rendering the geometry
carnage in the static air.
Analyzing atoms of the
Men down there,
hard drive heavy with the
weight of fate,
crushing all the cowards at the
iron gate.
Look at the friction on the calloused hand, measuring the distance to the bloody strand. Lactic acid build up in the thigh and hip. Metal teeth are waiting for the wooden ship. Skull plates vibrating with the war drum sound. Calculating impact as they hit the ground. Nerve endings firing like a circuit board. Calibration stable for the swinging sword. Spinal column stiffen in the winter blast. Each breath is data and it is their last. Cartilage is creaking under iron mail. Digital perfection in the northern gale. Jaw hinge locking as the clansmen stare. Static electricity in the braided hair. Femur shatters early in the simulated fight. Closing down the vision in the pale light. Lung tissue tearing in the frosty breath. Optimization protocol for sudden death. Belly fat and muscle cut by hard and steel. Broken logic spinning on the
Shattered keel.
phonetic frequencies of a dying scream. Downloading the spirit from the mortal dream. Kidney and the liver on the sandy soil. Ending the corruption of the earthly toil.
It is the Valkyrie ledger.
Mapping out the marrow on the
Water road. System check the artery.
system, check the vein. Rendering the geometry of ancient slaves.
Centrifuge carnage in the static air.
Analyzing atoms of the
Men down there,
hard drive heavy with the
weight of fate,
crushing all the cowards at the
iron gate. Step through the membrane, break the command. Blood in the gears of the slaughtered land.
data is bleeding.
Bread in the snow.
Watch the internal machinery go. Screws of the rebel and bolts of the king. Everything snaps when the Valkyries sing. Physics of slaughter,
Logic of war.
opening up the Valhalla door.
Scanning the battlefield for the valid soul.
No one escapes from the Valkyrie pole. Cold mist clinging to the empty oars. Silent data streaming from the killing floors. Unblinking pale eyes watching the tide. Nowhere for the living to run and hide. Nowhere to run. System shut down complete.
Blades in the freezing deep. 60 ghosts that will never sleep. Iron rivets and frozen marrow, aiming the ship like a deadly arrow. Grip the shaft with the blister palms, ignore the fear in the holy psalms. Ribs expand to the count of 4. Boot soles grind on the vessel floor. Calibrate grip on the heavier load. Execute pulling the ancient code. Friction burns in the nerve and wire, bumping the marrow to fuel the fire. Soul crusted iron on the rivet and plate, executing laws of the physical state. Sweat freezing hard on the beat in the chin. Ice cold date on the texture of skin. Geometry shifts in the angle of ore, tracing the path to the enemy shore. Nerves are on firing the socket and joint, pushing the hull to the critical point. Hey, to the black water dead, hey, for the gods and the creed are blending the wood and the iron restrained. Hardware stronger than prayer or complaint in the system of cold, hey, for the stories untold. Kinetic surge in the radius sweep, raping the storm that the Valkyries keep. Reaping the storm that the Valkyries Valkyrie's key. Part of the wood is the metronome hit. Bones in the backside ready to split. Tendons are stretched like a titan cable, feeding the strength from the slaughter table. Calibration, a muscle and lung. Song of the dead on the warrior tongue. Logic of impact, the vector is clear. Processing violence, void of the fear. Interface locked between human and beast. 60 your system is heading out east. Synchronized stroking the void of the mist. Iron clank gripping the titan fist. Physics of water resistance is high. Under the gray of the war-torn sky. Skeleton frame is the structural key. Tearing the veins of the unyielding sea. Hey, through the black water data, hey, for the gods and the Kree, blood in the wood and the iron restraint. Hardware stronger than player or come play. In the system of cold, hey, for the stories untold. Kinetic surge in the radius sweep, reaping the storm that the Valkyries keep. Reaping the storm that the Valkyries keep. Check the alignment. Final refinement. Sequence is binary, water and wood. Due to the ocean, the things that we should. Raw power up, but the marrow is dry. None of the sufferer is allowed to die. Friction coefficient, he's burning the knees. Cracking the ice on the surface of seas. Pulling the history into the now. Iron and ash on the weight of the prow. Bridging just like to the frame of the bench. Ignore the corrosion, ignore the stench. Crusted iron on the rivet and bone, sealing the fate in the shattering zone. Nerves of the circuits that carry the will, moving the mass with the surgical skills. Sweat on the beard is a frozen shield. Force the entirety of nature they yield. Manual labor is encoded in blood, kicking the hole through the freezing flood. 60-mil processor running on hate, crushing the doorway at Valhalla's gate. Impact is imminent, the logic is tight, feeding the darkness to carry the light. Hard-coded fury, the province, the blade, entering depths of the binary shade. Everything pieces the wood into steel. Only the cold is the thing that is real. The Blackwater data, hey, for the gods and the creed, blood in the wood and the iron restraint. Hardware stronger than prayer or come play. In the system of gold, hey, for the stories untold. Kinetic surge in the radius sweep, reaping the storm that the Valkyries keep. Reaping the storm that the Valkyries keep. Pull to the rhythm of bone, pull to the echoing stone. System shut down, wait for the impact, wait for the blood. Dum 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 dum.
The sea is a circuit, the salt is the wire. My ribs are the cage for a cold-blooded fire. I map out the coast with a binary eye. The geometry shifts where the gray gulls fly. The hull is a needle, the waves are the code. We carry the weight of a heavy metal load. My femur is anchored, my tendons are tight. We bypass the mercy and stay in the night. The system is loading, the sequence is clear. We process the data and delete all the fear. The compass is calibrated, hardware is cold. We trade all the blood for the weight of the gold. My synapses fire in a mechanical rhythmic beat. I feel the vibration beneath my scar feed. The distance is shrinking, the vector is set. We take every coin that the gods haven't met.
Shadow of the dragon, proud cast the tide.
Nowhere for the weak on the shore to hide.
Axes are locking the protocol starts.
Iron is piercing through calcified heart.
Shadow of the dragon, pro dark is the sand.
We reprogram the laws of this broken land.
The stolen chalice is bright as the sun.
Processing war until the upload is done. We beach the machine on a shoreline of stone. I feel the frequency deep in my bone. The ligaments pull as I swing for the head. The data stream turns from the white to the red. My plexus is hard and my knuckles are steel. I don't need a soul just to know what is real. The skull is a casing that's easy to crack. There is no restart and there is no turn back. I calibrate strength for the heavy lifting phase. My vision is thermal through the wintry haze. The rhythm is binary, strike and then kill. I execute orders with an ironclad will. No mercy in marrow, no ghost in the frame. I burn down the temple and delete the name. The blood is the coolant, the nerves are the light. We dominate space in the heat of the fight. monks shivering in stone halls, waiting for death. I count every cycle of their desperate breath. The walls are just barriers, simple to breach. I grab every treasure that's inside my reach. Ninja soul and chalice is holy and bright, reflecting the logic of the northern light. The silver is heavy, the silver is cold. The story of conquest is waiting to be told. Gold coins slipping through fingers like grain. We filter the profit and ignore all the pain. The abbey is empty, the database cleared. We are the virus that the old world feared. My tendons are pulsing with the weight of the loot. I follow the path of the primary route. The harvest is finished, the signal is high. We watch as the pillars of the stone all die. Within our reach.
Phase 4, fire.
Phase 5. Phase 5, the price of the world has finally been paid.
My radius is
Locking my honor is set.
the gods in the cloud.
Haven't seen nothing yet.
Strike, strike, kill, kill.
The metal is bending through the force of the wind.
Shadow of the dragon broke us a tie.
Nowhere for the weak on the shore to hide.
Axes are locking, the protocol starts.
Iron is piercing through calcified heart.
Shadow of the dragon darkens the sand.
We reprogram the laws of this broken land.
Clip a stolen chalice as bright as the sun.
Processing war until the upload is done. Horizon is gray and the mission is through. My skeleton aches for a world that is new. Gold coins slipping through fingers of clay. We sail to the edge of the terminal day. Hardware is cooling down. Software is silent town. My marrow is empty. Marrow is cold. The silver is bought and the blood has been sold.
Falls in the barometer tube. Cold geometry tightens the cube. Plum colored thunderheads built in the height. Scanning the spectrum for trace of the light. Pressure is dropping below the baseline. Nodes in the marrow begin to align. Calibration of iron and salt. System is grinding the gears to a halt. Lost sky bruise, data refused. Cold in the tendon, physics unbright. Ribs locked tight, frozen in sight. Weary the code in the purple of night. Barometric pressure is killing the cell. Nerves are vibrating the hollow shell. Hairs on the forearm stand up on end. Static is starting to break into bend. Wool sails are flapping in erratic code. Logic is buckling under the load. Calcium pillars are anchored to wood. Geometry does what the ancestors should. North sky bruise, data refused. Cold in the tendon, physics unrise. Ribs locked tight, frozen in sight. Weary the cold in the purple of night. In the purple of night. In the purple of night. Integers etched in the ice. Axe head is cold as a surgical vice. No one is praying to ghost in the mist. Only the tension within the clenched fist. Signal is flapped in the synapse in rain. Mapping the frequency hidden in pain. Hardware of Viking and software of God. Crushing the earth where the conquerors trod. Stern deck is melting at 40 degrees. Ice crystals forming on knuckles and knees. Rum-colored thunderheads bursting with lead, inputting violence into the head. Wool fabric scream in the binary storm. Physics is taking a predator form. Ligaments stretching under the strain. Calibrate muscles to conquer the rain. Lost sky bruised, data refused. Called in the tendon, physics unprised. Ribs locked tight, frozen in sight. We read the code in the purple of night. Temperature darting to absolute zero. Logic requires no mythical hero. Just the alignment of sinew and steel. Just the resistance of hand on the wheel. Barometric drop in the socket of eye. Reading the glitch in the rim of the sky. Purple is bleeding the oxygen out. Silence is stronger than any war shout. Scanning the void. System destroyed. Nerves on the wire. Frozen desire. Bones in the hole. Empty the skull. Cold purple.
I perch where the timber meets the frozen void, calculating angles where the hull is destroyed. My lungs are the bellows pushing ice through the wire. I am the friction of the bone in the fire. Horizontal sleep is the static on the lens. The frost is the logic where the misery begins. I grip the top gallon with the hard metal hand. I am the predator of the frozen no man's land. The atmospheric pressure is a weight on the ribs, feeding on the calcium inside of the cribs. I scan the vibration of the hemp and the steel. I am the only thing the nervous system can feel.
Calibrating terror in the occipital lobe. Scanning the geometry of the frozen globe. Thermal output dropping to a negative state. I am the vector and I am the way.
The snapping canvas is a crack of the whip.
The kinetic force
Is stripping the ship. The splintering spruce mast is a failure of law.
right in the end of the nautical code.
The howling down draft is a hand on the throat.
Driving the iron to
The lungs of the bull. The hard calcium snaps like a frozen reed.
the biometric data is all that I need.
I measure the tension in the tendon and rope. I am the equation at the end of your scope. The shield wall is a firewall denying the entry. I am the cold code standing the fentry. Synaptic fire in the base of the brain. I am the velocity of the freezing rain. Your respiration is a slowing machine. I am the glitch on the biological screen.
Calibrating terror in the occipital lobe. Scanning the geometry of the frozen globe. Thermal output dropping to a negative state. I am the vector and I am the way.
The snapping canvas is a crack of the whip.
The kinetic force
It's stripping the ship. The splintering spruce mass is a failure of law.
right in the end of the nautical
The
code.
howling down draft is a hand on the throat.
Driving the iron to
The lungs of the bull. The hard calcium snacks like a frozen reed.
the biometric data is all that I need.
Bone on iron,
Bone on iron,
ash in the marrow.
ash in the marrow.
Physics of failure.
The physics of failure.
Key on the tree of death. I calculate the shatter point of every bird of prey. I am the predator that takes the heat away. I am the algorithm of the northern storm. I am the shroud on the biological form. Horizontal sleep is the calibration of ice. The coal is the tax and the marrow is the price. Saturate the ligaments of the yoke in the pine. I am the corrosion of the organic line. Your pulse is a rhythm that I finally break. I am the total of the math that you make. The spruce mass is splintering into the jaw. I am the executioner of physical law. The snapping canvas is a crack of the whip.
The kinetic force
It's stripping the ship. The splintering spruce mass is a failure of law.
right in the end of the nautical
The
code.
howling down draft is a hand on the throat.
Driving the iron to
The lungs of the bull. The hard calcium Everything snaps like a frozen reed.
The biometric data is all that I need.
Shutting down in the center of the chest. The geometry is
Ironwood groans in the frozen grip. Salt in the tongue and a bleeding lip. Geometry breaks in a crushing deep. Date of a death with a leviathan sleep. Dragon head power in a data stream. Living the logic of the hardware dream. Cold calibration of salt and spray. Shield brothers wait for the end of day. The ocean is processing every cell. The physics of heaven and physics of hell. The gunwale is burning against the palm. The data of Chios is killing the calm. 30-foot swells like a mountain wall. Into the mouth of the dark we fall. White crest resembling teeth, swallowing darkness from underneath. Hi, hi, dum 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 dum. Black water, the walls are the only code. Carrying weight of a heavy load. Calculated chaos in a northern storm. Keeping the ice in the vessel warm. Grip on the gunwale, the pressure is real. Nerves are electric against the steel. Ribs are the cages where the tension stays. Counting the pulse in 100 ways. 30-foot swells like a mountain wall. Into the mouth of the dark we fall. White crest resembling teeth, swallowing darkness from underneath. Vector of water and vector of weight. Sealing the logic of iron and plate. Algorithm of the abyss and set. Collecting the data of every threat. Ligament stretching like graded rope. Blocking the breath and the vision scope. Geometric and glass of the recent tide. Nowhere left for the weak to hide. Are white and the vertebrae bent. Every tendon is rigid and spent. Crushing the log I see, breaking the frame. Digital sealants, no one to blame. 30-foot swells like a mountain wall. Into the mouth of the dark we fall. White crest resembling teeth, swallowing darkness from underneath. Calcium structure against the hull. Keeping the water outside of the skull. Veins of the wire in the carries a heat. Keeping the rhythm and keeping the beat. Binary system a sink or swim. Tearing the muscle and tearing the limb. The process of fells as the would-be gins break. Knowing the risk of the path that we take. The hardware is breaking inside the chest. The ribs are the limit of every test. Cold calibration of blood and of bone. Sinking together and sinking alone. Down in the data where light cannot go. Down where the binary rivers flow. Water filling the hole.
Steel breaks against the black mass code. Wet wood snapping under 10-ton load. Deep sea pressure grinds the marrow thin. Calculated geometry within the skin. Frozen corpses sink in perfect lines. I read the data in their broken spines. Shield walls fracture into splintered ash. Nerves are shorting in the final crash.
Open the abyss code, calibrate the bone load. Open the abyss code,
Calibrate the bone load.
jaws of hell grinding down the hall.
I extract the values from the empty skull.
Black whirlpools deleting every breath.
I am the physics of a certain death.
Crushing deep sea pressure locks the gate.
Iron will is critical to terminate.
Echoing abyss collects the raw data.
No survival in the final strata. Axes heavy with the salt and rust. Binary destruction turns the ribs to dust. Tendon tension snapping like a cable. I clear the corpses from my ocean table. Ancient darkness streaming through the veins. I map the trauma of the iron chains. Lungs are collapsing by the set law, feeding the hunger of my frozen jaw.
Open the abyss code, calibrate the bone load.
Open the abyss, go calibrate the bone load.
Jaws of hell grinding down the hull.
I extract the values from the empty skull.
Black whirlpools deleting every breath.
I am the physics of a certain death.
Crushing deep sea pressure locks the gate.
Iron will is critical to terminate.
Echoing abyss collects the raw data.
No survival in the final strata. Floating in the void, all your vital signals are destroyed. Breathe the marrow from the shattered side. No light reaches where the Vikings die. Scan the fracture in the pelvic bone. I reign abyssal on a sinking throne, coding agony in every cell. Welcome to the system of my shell.
Jaws of hell grinding down the hull.
I extract the values from the empty skull.
Black whirlpools deleting every breath.
I am the physics of a certain death.
Crushing deep sea pressure locks the gate.
Iron will is critical to terminate.
Echoing abyss collects the raw data.
No survival in the final strata. Crush the ribs, scan the bone, claim the dead, sink the throne. Hush the ribs, scan the bone, claim the dead, sink the throne.
Slip on freezing grain. Nerve endings fire the signal pain. Ribs grind against the wooden hull. Ice water cracks the frozen skull. System reboot the tendon wire. Freezing the marrow, killing fire. Joint geometry locks to zero. This is no saga for a hero. Slushing bilge water rises fast. Iron data shatters the mass. Wooden bailing buckets crack dry. Cold calibration under gray sky. Ankle deep in the liquid binary. Physics of fear are primary. Vertebrae click like gears in rust. Calcium scaffolding turns to dust. Input the salt to clog the vein. Hardware is failing under the strain. Logic of gravity pulls the deck. Ligaments snap around the neck. Axes of motion begin to drift. Tectonic plates of the water shift. Sloshing builds, water rises fast. Iron data shatters the mast. Wooden bailing buckets crack dry. Cold calibration under gray sky. Ankle deep in the liquid binary. Physics of fear are primary. Navigation grid starts to blur. Lungs become engines that cannot purr. Nerve conduction at lowest speed. Open the veins, let the data bleed. Shield wall is just a broken code. Marrow is heavy under the load. Shields are splintered, the grid is down. Watching the militant warriors drown. Choking on silhouette, bitter salt. Numb gray fingers lose the grip. Tendon extension begins to slip. Algorithm of the deep abyss. Narrow is freezing at the kiss. Bone density yields to the weight. Corrupted files at the iron gate. Pulley and tendon begin to fray. Nerve endings burning into gray. Horizontal axis starts to tilt. Skeleton sinking into the cell. In the system curve, bone against wood in the dark below. No more commands to the marrow flow. Hard iron hull meets the salt and the spray.
I calibrate death in a binary way.
The protocol starts as the pressure will rise.
No signal of mercy in digital skies. Yeah, your ship is a carcass, a structural flaw. I process the data with hunger and claw. The geometry locks in the rotation of tide. There is no horizon where sailors can hide. I map out the tension in tendons and rope. I delete the frequency needed for hope. Your ribs are the struts in a sinking design. I trace every circuit that runs through the spine. The sea is a processor, cold and profound. I track every heartbeat that sinks to the ground. The calcium hardware is brittle and old. I harvest the marrow to pay for the cold. The algorithm dictates a harvest of meat. The conquest of gravity makes it complete. The salt enters vents where the oxygen flows. I count every vertebrate row after row.
Deafening thunderclaps rupture the air.
The vortex is open, no time for a prayer.
I demand the blood for the depths of the deep.
The code of the current is promise I keep.
In this capability only it redraws.
Your flesh to the center of physical laws.
Deafening thunderclaps rupture the night.
I swallow the marrow, I swallow the light. I scan through the nerves as the salt water stings. I cut through the wire that the ligament brings. The femur is snapped like a brittle command. No mercy is written, no footprint in sand. I calibrate torque in the socket of hip. I dismantle the data that built up the ship. The cartilage grinds as the vortex rotates. I am the logic that opens the gates. The neural path flickers then fades into black. There is no retreat and there is no way back. The stomach is filling with lead and with brine. I execute code on the horizontal line. Your blood is the lubricant, heavy and thick. The countdown is moving, I hear every tick. The physics of pressure will flatten the chest. I put every biological system to rest.
Deafening thunderclaps rupture the air.
The vortex is open, no time for a prayer.
other hosts.
Calibrate, suffocate, system shut down.
Bearer of iron is losing his crown.
Tear at the sinew and strip every vein.
I am the master of biological pain.
The vortex is feeding on bone and on ash. I terminate pulse with a radiant flash. I measure the volume of fluid in lung. The final encryption is slipped from the tongue. The clavicle breaks and the shoulder is torn. This is the data for which you were born. I process the panic, I index the fear. The end of the sequence is finally here. The epidermis is stripped from the face. I leave not a pixel, I leave not a trace. The depth is a furnace of pressure and cold. I overwrite stories that used to be told. The skull is a shell for a dread that is dead. I paint every wave in a binary red. The physics of water, this one is God. I break every bone with a rhythm broad. The harvest is finished, the signal is clear. The ghost in the machine is all that I hear.
Deafening thunderclaps rupture the air.
The vortex is open, no time for a prayer.
I demand the blood for the depths of the deep.
The code of the current is promise I keep.
In this capablegiometry draws.
Your flesh to the center of physical laws.
Deafening thunderclaps rupture the night.
I swallow the marrow, I swallow the light. The data is stored in the floor of the sea. The physical wreckage is finally free. No pulse in the circuit, no heat in the vein. I wash away memory, wash away stain. Calibration complete, the ocean is still. I am the logic, I am the will. Bones in the sediment, dark in the deep. Promises made, are the promises kept.
White knuckle drip on the ashwood spine. Calculating stare on the horizon line. Nerves like a circuit in the frozen rain. Geometry of loss and the logic of pain. Ribs are the hull and the hull is the cage. Data of the slaughter on the blood red page. Scanning the current for a weakness in form. Calibrating flesh to the pulse of the storm. You're clamped tight like a vice on the steel. Hardware of the hunter at the steering wheel. Femur and the fiber in a deadly design. Processing the death on a vertical line. Blood is the currency, oh by the way, humor in the fist in the iron gray. Sever every tendon for the gods of the north. Input the violence and bring the ship forth. Bring it forth. Optic nerve focus on the neck and the throat. Binary decision to remain afloat. Cells under pressure in the sub-zero chill. Physics of the slaughter in the biological will. Teeth grinding down on the marrow and grit. Logic in the vitals where the heavy blades hit. Mapping the trajectories of bone in the vash. Systematic failure in the moment of crash. Ligaments stretching like a cable of wire. Calibrating output to the internal fire. Skull is the monitor of dark-coded waves. Quantifying bodies in the unmarked graves. Tendon under tension like a catenary arc. Tracking the movements of the ghost in the dark. Systematic rupture of the pulmonary vein. Quantifying vitals in the freezing terrain. Survival is a vector pointing straight at the eye. Biomass falling underneath the gray sky. Muscles are the engines running cold on the fuel. Iron is the master and the only fixed rule. Vertebrae stacking like a binary tower. Total extraction of the biological power. Calcium and carbon in the murderous grip. Steady is the anchor and the command of the ship. Blood is the currency to by the way. Femur in the fist in the iron gray. Sever every tendon for the gods of the north. Input the violence and bring the ship forth. Bring it forth. Connect the synapse to the edge of the tool. Biology is harsh and the physics are cruel. No soft abstraction, only red on the white. Calibrate the fury for the end of the line. Weight of the The hunting knife heavy on the hip, liquid in the vessels where the open wounds drip. Slicing through the dermis to the network below, scanning for the heat in the wasteland, the snow. Manual override of the pulse and the breath, processing the data of the physical death. Cold iron logic in the palm of the hand, navigating vitals of the hostile land. Structure of the axe and the density of shield, force equals mass on the killing field. Final input sequence as the steering oar turns, biological engine as the last oxygen burns. Blood is the currency to buy the way. By the way, fever in the fist in the iron gray. Sever every tendon for the gods of the north. For the north, input the violence and bring the ship forth. Bring it forth. Riven marrow, bone and blade. Death is settled, price is paid. Physics on the iron ore, blood upon the frozen floor.
System start, the northern storm is cold. Execution data, the judgment will unfold. Scanning for the weakness, tracking for the kill. Iron on the water, crushing everywhere. Splintering, wood shards in the meat. The thrall is slipping on his frozen bare feet. I scan the iris, the terrified wide eyes. The geometry of terror where the logic dies. Rocket rags clinging, wet fiber to the skin. The calibration of the judgment must begin. Data points assault, blood stains in the grain. Systemic shock is surging through the central vein. I'm at the tension in the tendon strands. The logic failure of the shaking hands. No mercy in the circuit, no pity in the steel. I calculate the friction of the iron on the key.
Circle of the iron, circle of the dead.
The axe code written, the circuitry is red.
We lock the logic gate, we seal the door.
Calcium and marrow spilled across the floor.
Bone meets the iron, nerves are split in two.
The Valkyrie is processing, looking at you.
Circle of the iron, circle of the slain.
Data mining agony from the human brain.
No escape now!
Looming warriors gathering a perimeter of shields, harvesting the biomass of the battlefields. Look at the geometry, the angle of the fear. The physics of the slaughter is perfectly clear. I monitor the nerve endings firing in the dark. On the surface of the cornea, I leave a mark. Wet deck sliding under calloused heels. The grinding of the gears, the turning of the wheel. The thrall is just a variable, a broken bit of code. Heavy iron pressure on the heavy road. Connect the synapses to the burning sky. Watch the oxygen levels as the lungs run dry. Ribs are like a cage for a heart that wants to stop. Counting every molecule and every single drop. Encryption in the scar tissue, data in the ash. The processing is brutal, the system will crash. I do not see a person, I only see the mesh. The physical reality of shivering flesh. Nerves are cables fraying under heavy load. Binary destruction on the northern road. Calibration single, the trajectory is fixed. Iron and the oxygen are violently mixed. Check the pulse frequency, watch it start to redline. Everything is calculated, everything is mine. No feelings in the metal, no feelings in the frost. Just the simple math of everything you lost. Bone density veiling the skeletal frame. A sequence of attrition with a deadly name. Gravity is winning, the deck is tilting fast. Pinned against the splinters
of the broken mass. Circle of the iron,
circle of the dead. The axe code return.
Circuitry.
We lock the logic gate.
We seal the door.
Calcium and marrow
Still across the floor. Bone meets the iron. Nerves are split in two.
The Valkyrie is processing,
looking at you. Circle of dragging the mass through the frozen particle. Keratin stretches under high tension force, calculating the trajectory of the corpse. Scalp tissue tearing from the cranial plate, calibration of the violence and the hate. No mercy found in the biological file, moving the thrall down the wooden aisle. Nerve endings firing in the saturated burst, liquid displacement for the bloodthirst. Friction coefficient on the scarred skin, system initialization, let the end begin. Pressure is mounting on the cervical spine, following the geometry of the line. Axillary nerve under crushing weight, locking the coordinates to seal the fate. Drag the meat to the dragon head, total data loss when the vein is bled. Oakwood grinding on the patella bone, system termination in the kill zone. Drag the meat to the dragon brow, execution protocol is starting now. Marrow is leaking on the deck array, no recovery of the file today. Bruised knees shatter on the geometry evoke, lungs are collapsing under eigen yoke. Rib cage is grinding on the structural beam, decibel spike in the lost wind scream. Biomechanics of the struggle in the pull, maximum torque on the hinge of the skull. Calibrating distance to the carved beast, preparing the flesh for the carrion feast. Femoris snapping at the impact point, disarticulation of the shoulder joint. Hardware is ancient, but the code is new, processing the data that I have to do. Access gained through the spinal cord, serving the logic of the overlord. Thermal signature is starting to fade, sharpening the edge of the physical blade. 1 meter left to the dragon jaw, executing data of the primal law. Drag the meat to the dragon head, total data lost when the vein is bled. Oakwood grinding on the patella bone, system termination in the kill zone. Drag the meat to the dragon brow, execution protocol is starting now. Marrow is leaking on the deck array, no recovery of the file today. Dum, 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 dum. A fistful of hair left in the iron grip position, the torso at the edge of the ship, dragon head carving in the optical lens, where the biological cycle ends, synchronizing movement with the surging tide. Nowhere for the cellular data to hide. Nerve pulse zero on the monitor screen, purging the vessel until it is clean. Cartilage crunch on the forward rail, final delivery of the broken nail. Input complete at the brow of the hull, emptying the contents of the fractured skull. Physics takes over as the body falls, silent vibration in the hollow hall. System offline! System offline! Calibration complete.
Cold forged steel in the grip of the fist, vaporizing in the digital mist. Raindrops slicing on the edge of the blade. History deleted in the shadow we made. Rib cage opening like pages of script, anatomy broken as the blade is unzipped. Tendon vibration in the sub-zero air, physical trauma that the bones must bear. Raindrops slicing on the edge of the zinc, wait for the system to finally sink. Calibration of the axe and the shield, data points scattered on the frozen field. Intercostal muscles are stripped from the frame, binary judgment that carries no name. Scapular fragments in the dirt and the mud, hardware processing the flow of the blood.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine,
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the head.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine,
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the head. in the cold of the rain. Hardware access to the center of pain. Mandible shattered by the hollow of iron. Algorithm run by the blood of the sky. Enjoying dislocation at the apex of force. Nature abandoned to its violent course. Scapula crushed by the weight of the gods. Calculating death against all of the odds. Abdominal cavity breach of the hull. Kinetic energy impact the skull. Vertebrae cracking in a linear chain. Input the terror, output the stain.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine.
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
Frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the hand.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine.
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
Frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the hand. Femur splitting with the binary crack. No latency movement in the frontal attack. Cornea freezing in the blast of the gale. Execution input where the
Weak will fail.
conical dust in the palm of the storm. Changing the shape of the humanoid form. Patella grinding on the granite below. Lethal instruction in the rhythm of blow. An honor fire circuit is blown. Sovereign territory throne is of bone. Occipital shadow visual black. Deleting the you got no turning back. Iron logic, iron will. Time to calibrate the kill. Iron logic, iron will. Time to calibrate the kill.
Bone, marrow, narrow. Cold, 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 cold.
Tendon snapping and the nerve ending. Brain slicing, blood rising. Carve the dia into the ribs. Shatter the locket, burning a crib. 101 in the ash and the grain. Nobody living to see a new day.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine.
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
Frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the hand.
Steel on the radius, steel on the spine.
Killing geometry, drawing the line.
Frozen circuitry, northern command.
Iron logic in the wrath of the hand. Steel on the radius. Steel on the spine. Killing geometry, drawing the line. Rain on the steel, rain on the bone. Nothing left but the stone.
Calibrate the grip on the hilt of the steel. Geometry of bone is the only thing real. Anchor the collarbone hard in the stance. Enter the ritual lethal by dance. Iron the skin in a cold-blooded sink. Death is the dead of the missing red link. I'm after carotid with surgical sight. Cold iron physics extinguishing light. Scan for the rhythm, the pulse and the clay. Calculate pressure to open the way. No soft mercy in the logic of war. Steaming hot blood hits the frost on the floor. Pay the red debt in the mouth of the foam. Carry the harvest, the marrow meat home. Copper scent heavy in the bite of the gale. God's reading code in the dying and pale. Pay the red debt with the edge of the grain. Sever the hardware, disconnecting the pain. Copper scent heavy in the bite of the gale. I am the hammer and I am the nail. Slice through the tendon, the cable, the wire. Quench a cold iron in biological fire. Sudden arterial spray on the shield. This is the date of the physical yield. Ribs of the raft is the hull of the chest. Put the machine of the breathing to rest. Nerves of the circuitry sparking and thin. Not till the manual out from the skin. Code in the marrow and law in the lead. Watch how the vacuum is starting to feed. No more abstract, no empty pretense. Killing is gravity, simple and dense. hustling grid. Open the throat for the darkness to sit. Lungs losing pressure in rapid decline. I am the architect tracing the line. Sudden arterial spray on the snow. Gods of the undergo watching below. Sudden arterial spray on the snow. Colder in geometry ready to go. Focus the vision on the gurgling breath. This is the chemistry, this is the death. Liquid data pouring out on the ice. Blood is the currency, life is the price. Calibration of the knife at the nape. There is no exit and there is no escape. I am the glitch in the beat of the heart, tearing the physical structure apart. Systematic failure, the shiver, the jerk. Watch how the laws of the slaughterhouse work. Terminal stutter, the gurgle, the hiss. Ancient dark logic was leading to this. Pay the red debt in the mouth of the foam. Carry the harvest of marrow meat home. Scent heavy in the bite of the gale. God's reading code in the dying and pale. Pay the red debt with the edge of the grain. Sever the hardware, disconnecting the pain. Copper scent heavy in the bite of the gale. I am the hammer and I am the nail. Feed the foam. Red payment delivered. Oh, ribs, marrow, nerve. Geometry is finished. The code is complete.
Cold iron physics in the northern dark. Geometry of war leaves a frozen mark. System reset in the pouring rain. Calibration of the marrow and pain. Hits the oak like a system reboot. Iron meets marrow in the cold pursuit. Red streaks in salt water, a liquid design. Tracing the data of a broken spine. Nerves are shorting in the freezing spray. Footprints of giants are washing away. Oak grain is thirsty for the crimson leak. Data is written on the timbers weak. Ribs are snapping like a dry wood laugh. Calculating physics of the storm path. Blood is the fuel for the engine block. Splitting the skull on the granite rock.
Crimson wash across the grain. Physics of the war and rain.
Staining ship timbers with ancient code. Heavy the marrow and heavy the load. Red streaks running in the south and gray.
Red streaks running in the south and gray.
Diluted crimson puddles on the starboard side. No place for the weak or the coward to hide. Anatomical shrapnel in the swirling foam. Sending the dead to their digital home. Tendons are fraying like a rotting rope. Flesh is the hardware with no room for hope. Scan the horizon for the burning light. Sensors are failing in the dead of night. Axe hit the sternum with a heavy thud. Mixing the grease with the warrior blood. Geometry of axes and the weight of steel. Only the pain of the bone is real.
Crimson wash across the grain. Physics of the war and rain.
Staining ship timbers with ancient code. Heavy the marrow and heavy the load. Red streaks running in the south and gray.
Red streaks running in the south and gray.
Crushing the binary scale. Shattered by the iron nail. Burning in the freezing tide.
Nowhere for the
Ghost too high. Calibration of the killing floor. Processing the data of the holy war. Stain the timber, stain the oak. System failure in the black and smoke. Salt water cleaning the shattered remains. Running the program through arteries and veins. Red rivers flowing through the dead gap scene. Wake up the beast from the static dream. No more logic, only flesh and grit. Watch the fire in the furnace lit. Flesh is the vessel, the hardware is rent. Energy levels are fully spent. Wash away the footprints, wash away the shame. Only the geometry knows
across the grain, physics of the war and brains.
Chaining ship timbers with ancient code, heavy the marrow and heavy the load. Red streaks running in the south and gray.
Red streaks running in the salt and gray.
Data is lost in the ocean deep. Promises of iron are the ones we keep. Staining the timbers, physics is understood. Diluted crimson, system off.
Depths and the story is told. The iron geometry aligns with the code, a binary contract of flesh to be sold. I watch the tendons disconnect from the grip. The vessel recalculates weight on the ship. The heavy splash executes the final command. The sinking pale corpse leaves this blood on my hand. The bubbling crimson wake fractures the glass. A data stream broken as milliseconds pass. Feed in the deep by the laws of the ice. Crushing the marrow of physics device. Down to the black where the geometry ends. None of the shields that the metal defend. I track the trajectory down through the silt. No moral assessment, no hormone build. The ribs under pressure begin to collapse. A structural failure in biological math. The nerves stop the firing, the signal is dead. I scan the horizon for shadows ahead. The cold is a codec encrypted in frost. A system reboot for the data we lost. The scapula grinds on the edge of the hull. A calibrated impact to shatter the skull. The optics are clouded, the vitreous fluid. No magic invoked by the priest or the druid. The sea is a server that swallows the file. Processing waste for 1,000 long miles. The ligaments shrivel and salinated dark, leaving behind not a shadow or spark. The oxygen levels are dropping to zero. No hymn is recorded to honor a hero. The pressure is mounting on every vein. Disconnect synapses, releasing the pain. I stare at the void where the red meets the gray. A standard procedure to end the long day. The femur is heavy, it anchors to descent according to laws that the ocean has set. The white of the skin is the glitch in the tide. Nowhere for biological errors to hide. A grain that leaks from the cracks in the bone. A terminal broadcast delivered alone. The body, this data translated to solve the system locked inside of the vault. The current is pulling the radius down, ignoring the glory, ignoring the crown. The vertebrae snap in the crushing machine. The coldest dimension that eyes have ever seen. Deep in the liquid the chemistry binds. The friction of physics as everything grinds. Bone and ash, feed the deep. Iron will never sleep. The code of the north is the promise we keep. The code of the north is awake in the deep. Feeding the deep by the laws of the ice. Crushing the marrow of physics device. Down to the black where the geometry ends. None of the shields that the metal defends. By the laws of the ice. Crushing the marrow of physics device. Down to the black where the geometry ends. None of the shields that the metal defends. The terminal depth is the end of the track. The vessel moves on with no glance to the back, disappearing into the black.
locked. Bone grid clocked. Ocean stopped.
System dropped.
Clash on the canvas and wood. Code is rewritten where tempest once stood. Salt in the marrow is locked in the gear. Physics are fixed and the geometry clear. Wind is deleted from header to base. 0 point come on the skin of the face. Axes are leveled as tendons go tight. Scanning the grid for the flicker of light. Pressure is measured in vertebral cracks. Code is the data that follows the tracks. Waves are now rendered as hard as the floor. Bolting the hinges on infinite door.
I see the surface, the mirror is cast. Tendon and bone hold the heavy ship fast.
Friction is voided, the ocean is still.
Data is hardened by absolute will.
Eerie the calm in the center of war. Shields on the water with teeth at the core. Eerie the calm in the center of war. Shields on the water with teeth at the core. Nerves are the wires that carry the surge. Whether your blood and the horror will merge. Skull is the helmet protecting the drive. Only the calibrated stay alive. Calibration of oxygen deep in the chest. Lungs are the bellows at absolute rest. Flatten the frequency, level the tide. No way for biological errors to hide. Knees on the deck and like stone on the sill. This is the world that the god proxy build. Jawbone is clamping on metal and lead. System is silent and hunger is fed. Odin input on the map in the veins. Breaking the cycle and cutting the reins. Mercury freezing in hollows of thighs. Digital glimmer in predator eyes. Geometry perfect, the surface is dead. Shield wall is frozen, the ocean is red. Zero velocity locking the ore. Mood on the glass as we march to the shore. Scanning for weakness and fibers of ash. Cutting the circuit with one single flash. Data is bleeding from gaps in the hole. Logic is carved in the plate of the skull. Fog is the buffer that slows down the frame. Nobody speaks the original name. Low-hanging vapor is blotting the sun. Algorithm of the slaughter begun. Moisture on metal and rust on the wrist. Nothing remains in the heart of the mist. Marrow is heavy as lead in the drain. Mapping the signals of biological pain.
Glassy the surface, the mirror is cast. Tendon and bone hold the heavy shit fast.
Friction is voided, the ocean is still.
Data is hardened by absolute will.
Eerie the calm in the center of war. Shields on the water with teeth at the core. Eerie the calm in the center of war. Shields on the water with teeth at the core. Spine is the pillar, the chassis are paved. Crushing the entry and opening gate. Wrist the lever that swing back to steel. Only the calculated impact is real. Real-time analysis done by the blade. This is the debt of the contract we paid. Skin is the parchment for rooms of the binary. Valhalla waits in the ghost of machinery. Feet on the mirror, no ripple is traced. Every emotion has been now erased. Every nerve ending is tuned to the hurts. Power is measured in blood as it spurts. Shoulder to shoulder, the harbor is set. Closing the holes in the physical net. Ribs are the rafters of purples of gold. Marching on water and ready for more. Marching on magic and marching on grid. Doing the deeds that the ancients once did. Instinct is data stored deep in the hip. Taking the anchor and burning the ship. Fire is contained in the tubes of the throat. Killing the vocal and killing the note. Only the stop and the clank of the suit. Everything else in the system is mute.
Cold in the cavity of chest. Stormed at a fade like a signal lost at sea. Geometric lines on the dick in front of me. Axe handle grip through the tendon and the nerve. Gravity decay in the heavy ocean curve. Calibration drift in the iron hinge and knee. Static in the skull from the fury of the sea. Breath is a binary of ice and of salt. System shut down in the battle to a halt. Iron on the tongue like the taste of the blade. Watch the color of the burning horizon fade. Deafening quiet in the hollow of the bone, sitting on the plank like a king upon a throne, dripping from the rigging like a liquid metal cold, carrying the weight of a system overload, ringing in the ears like a high frequency blast, flinging my spine into the splinters of the mast. The wind is a ghost that has left the command, feeling the pressure of the silence on the hand. Salt on the skin where the physics hit the flesh, muscle fibers tear in the carbon fiber mesh, oxygen is thin in the wreckage of the gale, processing the void in the shadow of the sail, hard drive, heartbeat pumping in the chest, central nervous system at a terminal rest, shield wall broken but the logic remains tight, digital darkness in the middle of the night, blood is the fuel and the iron is the frame, calculating loss in the ashes of the flame, vertebrae clicking like a gear in the clutch, cold is the only thing the fingers can touch. The wind is dead. The noise is gone. The ringing screams see far the dawn. Bones locked in place like a deer in the machine. Visual data on the internal screen. Nerves are the wires where the current is cold. Stories of the slaughter that never get told. Rhythms on the rail like a sensor on the wing, waiting for the end and the melody they sing. Scars on the knuckle of the entry give the key, locking down the system for the frozen valley. Marrow is the memory the body always keeps, while the violent chaos of the ocean finally sleeps. Tended snap shut like a sequence in the run, counting every scar until the reckoning is done. Cold calculation in the orbit of the eye, binary horizon where the water meets the sky. Jawbone grinding with the weight of the wave, parsing the meaning of the opening gate. Deafening quiet in the hollow of the bone, sitting on the plank like a king upon a throne, dripping from the rigging like a liquid metal cold, carrying the weight of a system overload, ringing in the ears like a high frequency blast, leaning my spine into the splinters of the mast. The wind is a ghost that has left the command, feeling the pressure of the silence on the hand. Calibration complete. The quiet is the law. Bone and iron, marrow and claw.
On calcium edge, frozen marrow is the pledge. Clouds of white breath hit the vent. Life is a circuit badly bent. Sweat-soaked tunics cling to skin. Neural loops where death begins. Axis heavy lead and steel. Broken joints refuse to feel.
Calibration of the core.
Blood slick data on the floor.
Geometry of broken ribs.
Seeding death from wooden cribs.
Code is written in the red.
Numbering the undead head.
Shield and hurts and bone and wire.
Cold is burning like the fire. Cold is burning like the fire. Cold is burning like the fire. Smell of ozone in the mesh. Hardware fused inside the flesh. Slacken muscles drop the weight. Logic locks the iron gate. Tendons stretching past the limit. Life is just a failing unit. Rib cage pumping empty air. Nerves are stripped and laying bare.
Calibration of the core.
Blood slick data on the floor.
Geometry of broken ribs.
Feeding death from wooden cribs.
Code is written in the red.
Numbering the undead head.
Shield and hurts and bone and wire.
Cold is burning like the fire. Floorboard soaked in viscous fluid. Ghost is laking like a druid. Physics rules the heavy hand. Falling down in frozen land. and data streams of failing pulse. System shock and grand convulse. Banner torn and banner static. Motion becomes automatic.
Calibration of the core.
Blood flick data on the floor.
Geometry of broken ribs.
Feeding death from wooden cribs.
Code is written in the red.
Numbering the undead hedge.
Shield and herds of bone and wire.
Code is burning like the fire. Code is burning like the fire. Optic sensors fading out, ending every single doubt. Scan the room for living signs, reading only failing lines. Valkyrie is off the grid, doing what the command bid. Disconnect the spinal cord, lay down on the broken board.
System failure.
In the bones,
Sitting on a
static throne.
code of iron.
Code of ash,
Waiting for the
final crash.
7 circles.
In the sky,
Program for the
meant to die.
geometry of war and pain.
Nothing left.
For us to gain.
Cold is burning like the fire. Cold is burning like the fire. Calibration set to 0. End of the organic hero. Bones are locking in the frost. Every bit of data lost. Clouds of white breath disappear. Physics is the only fear. System shut down. Now begins.
Paying for the father's sins. Ashwood clutched in the metacopple grip. Salt water stinging on the lower lip. Bloodstained calluses tear on the grain. Logic circuits ignore the physical pain. Stiff joints cracking like a fracturing hull. Data stream surging through the frontal skull. Regripping the ore handles tight in the fist. Calibrating motion through the frozen mist. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry. Total surrender to kinetic energy. First slow stroke set the vector in time. Climbing the wave in a numerical rhyme. Radius and ulna in parallel line. Neural network welded to the design. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry. Total surrender to kinetic energy. Tendons tighten like a steel cable spool. Hydrodynamics is the only rule. Cerebrospinal fluid cold as the ice. Calculating velocity is the only device. Rib cage expanding to the limit of air. Oxygen data classes down in the layer. Calcium scaffolding holding the weight. Pulling the vessel through the binary gate. Fascia stretching on the bicep curve. Imperceptible by the efferent nerve. Scapula sliding on the dorsal plane. Mapping the friction to ancient terrain. Synchronized pistons in the quadricep mass. Shattering the surface of the liquid glass. Iron in the marrow and the iron on the hull. Emptying the contents of the memory null. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry. Total surrender to kinetic energy. First slow stroke set the vector in time. Climbing the wave in a numerical rhyme. Radius and ulna in parallel line. Neural network welded to the design. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry. Total surrender to kinetic energy. Calibration is complete in the dark. Biological engine igniting the spark. Epidermis peeling from the constant abuse. Connective tissue fused and no longer loose. Axon stirring like a lightning strike hit. Bit by bit the chassis is ready to split. No abstraction, only bone and the wood. Doing what the ancient program said we should. Hemoglobin level spiking high in the vein. Put automation of the physical strain. Ore blade cutting through the dark matter flow. Setting up the rhythm for the status to grow. Vertebrae locking in a vertical stack. Never calculating any path to go back. adventure till the ocean is still. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry, total surrender to kinetic energy. First slow stroke set the vector in time, climbing the wave in a numerical rhyme. Radius and owner in parallel line, neural network welded to the design. Lower the blade in the fluid geometry, total surrender to kinetic energy. Lock the joint, which the coordinate. Blood on ash, ash on bone, hardware thrown.
Rattle in the hollow chest. North Sea current is the final test. Cold light fractures on the frozen eye. Binary code in a charcoal sky. Saltwater stings the exposed nerve. Lock the target on the coastal curve. Thinning white fog on the dragon's head. Scanning for the living and the dead. Iron axe is the hardware key. Locked in the cage of the gravity. Boots on the wood where the marrow freezes. Catch the logic in the northern breezes. Bone and prow in a perfect sync. Blood on the water is the only ink.
Jack gray cliffs,
Fitting white fog.
seagull white fog,
Seagulls circling.
seagulls circling,
Burning peat smoke.
burning peat smoke.
Calibrate the muscle for the heavy swing. Listen to the data that the ravens bring. Drag a great cliff through the lens gate show. Hardline echo from the world below. Grind the cartilage on the rowing bench. Neural pathway for the iron clenched. Shield wall geometry is tight and cold. System upgraded, the warrior's old. Flesh and tendon for the engine room. Writing the geometry of impending doom.
Split the veil with the iron hand.
Calibrate the fury in the promised land.
Bone on stone,
Bone on stone.
hue and steel.
Seen when steel.
Drive the gears of the bloodstained wheel.
Seagulls circling the granite spire.
Scanning the radiant.
Phantom fire. Phantom fire. Smell of burning peat hits a nasal port. Locate the weakness in the granite fort. Lungs of the bellows for licking the flames. 0-1 is the ancestor game. Step to the deck with a knee joint lock. Signal received and the weapon is cocked. Gritty texture on the callous palm. Digital static in the pre-war calm. Rib cage housing the engine core. Physics mandate that we open the door. No mercy in the operating system. List the casualties, then you dismiss them. Nerve endings firing a lethal trace. Mapping the void of the physical space. Cartilage crunching in the boots of iron. Predator pulse of the northern siren. Target is locked in the optic lens where the water and the firmament ends.
Split the veil with the iron hand.
Calibrate the fury in the promised land.
Bone on stone,
Bone on stone.
hue and steel.
Seen when steel.
Drive the gears of the bloodstained wheel.
Seagulls circling the granite spire.
Scanning the radiance.
Phantom fire. Beef grind rhythm on the mala bone. Claiming the data on the basalt throne. Seagulls circle in the vortex spin. Let the physical calibration begin. Thinning white fog for the warrior class. Shards of the sky like a broken glass. Bone and ash, cold and fast. Viking code to the very last.
charting the coordinates of carved stone. Nerves twitching tight in the fist and the wrist. System reboot in the freezing mist. Muddy river mouth is the entry port. Scanning for the weakness in the granite fort. Biology aligns with the iron edge. Blood in the veins is the ancient pledge. Femur is locked to the rhythm of oars. Navigating data on the hostile shores. Calibration stable in the frontal lobe. Freezing the pulse of the northern globe. Narrow predatory, I scan the grid. Nothing of the terror remains undead. Ribs are the casing for the engine room. Writing the code of the Saxon doom. Narrow predatory, eyes lock the sight. Processing the physics of the blackest night. Tendons are cables pulling at the shield. None of the circuitry will ever yield. Distant church tower is a vertical line. Calculating angles of the grand design. Thatched roofs flicker in the gloom below. Processing the heat of the coming glow. Geometry of axes in the calloused hand. Executing orders on the sundered land. Vertebrae stacking like the wall of lead. Input the number of the soon-to-be dead. Skin is the armor for the wiring deep. Promises of slaughter are the ones we keep. Synapse firing like a lightning strike. Sharpening the vector of the iron spike. Narrowed predatory, I scan the grid. Nothing of the terror remains undead. Ribs are the casing for the engine room. Writing the code of the Saxon doom. Narrowed predatory, eyes lock the sight. Processing the physics of the blackest night. Tendons are cables pulling at the shield. None of the circuitry will ever yield. Skull is the processor housing the hate. Physics of violence determines the fate. Bone marrow vibrates with the sub-bass roar. Opening the valves to the logic of war. Shields of the hardware locked in the row. Crushing the data of the failing foe. Ligaments stretching like a bow too tight. Feeding the hunger of the hollow night. Torn at the prow with a pointing arm. Singing in the end of the living warm. Calibration finished at the river mouth. Cold wind back to blowing from the south. Nerves are on fire with the central core. Dragging the dragon ship up to the shore. Axes are swinging in the perfect dark. Cut in the light to provide the dark. Beat to the grinders in the lower jaw. Eating the logic of the written law. System is beat in the output is blood. Burying the history beneath the mud. Narrowed predatory, I scan the grid. Nothing of the terror remains undead. Ribs are the casing for the engine room. Writing the code of the Saxon doom. Narrowed predatory, eyes lock the sight. Processing the physics of the blackest night. Tendons are cables pulling at the shield. None of the circuitry will ever yield. Geometry of stone meets the iron will. Blood is the liquid making system still. Bone in the ash on the war-torn sky. Only the marrow knows the reason why. Bone in the ash on the war-torn sky. Only the marrow knows the reason why.
Cold iron grinds on the silicon grit. Spark geometry in the shadow pit. Friction data leaks from the steel. Kinetic calibration is the only real. Morning mist clings to the rib cage wall. Waiting for the logic of the hammer fall. Steel meets stone in a binary clash. Turning the marrow into white hot ash. Whetstone rotates on a perfect axis. calculating death like a blood-borne taxes. Edge refinement on the carbon blade. Price of the entry is already paid.
Sharpen the nerve,
Feed the coal to the iron curve.
grinding stone on the femur light.
We are the sparks in the twilight.
Geometry,
Geometry fixed in the hardware of destiny.
10,000 hours in the dampened cold.
Writing the story.
Let the metal toll.
Let the straps tighten on the unit joint. Fixed coordinates at the killing point. System check on the vertebrae stack. There is no software for the turning back. Tendon tension at the maximum load. Reading the map of the jugular road. Oxygen pumping through the bronchial tree. Locked in the vortex of the deadly degree. No hesitation in the synapse fire. Iron is the only thing the limbs require. Digital precision in a pre-tech age. Writing the carnage on the empty page.
Sharpen the nerve,
Feed the coal to the iron curve.
grinding stone on the femur light.
We are the sparks in the twilight.
Geometry,
Fixed in the hardware of destiny.
10,000 hours in the dampened cold.
Writing the story.
That the metal toll.
Don't test the edge on the dermal layer. Silent execution for the final player. Capillary burst on the honing surface. Metal is the master of the mortal purpose. Calibration of the radius of the swing. Listen to the data that the anvil sing. Bone density met by the hardened grain. Logic of the cleaver in the freezing rain. Input the violence, output the void. Every soft variable is now destroyed. Nerve-ending scream in a frozen frequency. Total submission to the blade's consistency.
Sternum will break like a fault line flaw.
The data is written in the ancient law.
The geometry of the severed vein.
Is the only logic in the northern plane.
Scalp to the sacrum, the hardware is set.
Paying the iron its biological kit.
No emotion, only the physics of strike.
We are the bolt and the lightning alone.
Sharpen the nerve,
Feed the coal to the iron curve.
grinding stone on the femur light.
We are the sparks in the twilight.
Geometry,
Fixed in the hardware of destiny.
10,000 hours in the dampened cold.
Writing the story.
That the metal toll. Cold iron grinds, system aligns. Bone marrow sinks, everything links. Tearing hard on the keel in the sand. Vector locked and hold in the lay of the land. Boots hit the shallows and displace the weight. Physics governing the opening gate. Shields drawn tight in the geometric row. Axial tilt as the heavy winds blow. Iron in the hand and the knot in the wrist. Calculated strike in the northern mist. Connective tissue tighten at the point of the leap. Ancient algorithms that the warrior will keep. Gravity is pulling on the heavy dark mail. Hardware striking at the edge of the gale. Cold steel logic in the marrow of the man. Follow the protocol and execute the plan. Ligaments stretching at the edge of the leap. Variables of power that the heavy blades reap. Crush the geometry, break the frame. Write the new code in the blast of flame. Ribs of the cage for the pumping core. This is the calibrated logic of war. Shields up high in the total design. We are the data at the end of the line. Grind the anatomy, shatter the stone. Kingdoms built on the strength of the bone. Scan the horizon for the heat of the mark. Neural pathways lighting up in the dark. First war cry is a frequency blast. Sunder the future and delete the past. soft on the skin is a mineral crust, grinding the lungs with the metallic dust. Fingers on the grip like a hydraulic lock. Impact point on the surface of rock. Nerves are a wire with a high voltage feed, sown in the soil like a terminal seed. Execute the motion with the perfect intent. Gravity is heavy and the sky is bent. Cold steel logic in the marrow of the man. Follow the protocol and execute the plan. Ligaments stretching at the edge of the leap. Variables of power that the heavy blades reap. The commentary, break the frame. Write the new code in a blast of flame. Ribs are the cage for the pumping core. This is the calibrated logic of war. Shields up high in a total design. We are the data at the end of the line. Grind the anatomy, shatter the stone. Kingdoms built on the strength of the bone. Boom, code, iron, load. Boom, code, iron, load. Synapse firing, tendon wiring. Synapse firing, tendon wiring. Skull is a helmet for the gray matter drive. Only the machines of the killing survive. Cortex crunch in a violent clash. Binary blood in the burning ash. Shoulders are levers for the weight of the axe. Hard data points in the sensory tracts. Lungs pull oxygen to feed the machine. Scanning the geometry of what must be seen. Step by step in the militant tread. Living circuitry among the dead. Hard as a piston in a chamber of lead. Viking algorithm constantly fed. Tear the connective tissue loose from the grip. Watch the whole reality begin to slip. Calibrate the angle for the severing blow. Witness how the rivers of the biomass flow. Keith greeting hard on the beta assay. Clearing the objects that are blocking the way. Femur snaps loud like a dry wooden beam. Waking up the valley from a chemical dream. Iron is the answer to the question of mass. Question every obstacle we attempt to pass. Total saturation of the foreign soil. Blood in the water like a slick of oil. Crush the geometry, break the frame. Write the new code in a blast of flame. Ribs are the cage for the pumping core. This is the calibrated logic of war. Shields up high in a total design. We are the data at the end of the line. Grinding